Hello, back from Ojai. It was a very connective time. Just I, that's the best way to explain it. Felt very connected, um, and really peaceful. I feel really peaceful. One of the main differences between the first module and the second module is I've been learning to be more surrendered, or to surrender to myself and my environment. And typically, my comfort zone is to go, 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 go. Like when I want something, I go headstrong into it, um, which is great for a certain type of activity. But for relationship with yourself and other people, it's not always the best choice or the more connective choice, although it is effective. So I've been learning to surrender and just really be kind of like, I like to think of it as seaweed floating in the ocean, letting stuff come to me, just flowing. And yeah, I feel like I really did that. I still had the same amount of breakthroughs that I did, you know, when I do this work and I go, 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 and I push myself. Um, I just, it was a different experience. I just felt really peaceful and connected. Um, and yeah, I'm still understanding that effect, that shift. It feels good. I know I can just switch back on to go, go, go if I really need to, that headstrongness. Um, yeah, so what really came up for me when I was there, so I don't know if it's hard to remember all these videos, what I've talked about in them, but my intention with this training was is to heal or help, I should say, help uh, men with their vulnerability to overcome or heal shame and to help people with disabilities, because all three of those really are basically me, what I'm overcoming and growing uh, into. So I've noticed that, yeah, when I have an intention, it really shows up a lot. Whatever that anchor is I have in me, it works. So this time, so connected to the um, men in my group, like brothers, just like in my men's circle. It's just very connected, and I got a lot of really heartfelt feedback, and it felt good. It felt really good to receive it. That's something new for me too. All because this hard work I've been doing, a lot of it with tantra or neo tantra. Um, so yeah, so it's interesting today. So I got back yesterday, and today in the morning, I went and got a drink, a tea, and that's what I usually do. And I go to this cafe down the street, and just sit outside with my dog and just enjoy the morning, waking up and things like that. So I was doing that today, and while doing that, um, right in front of me was an accident. It's like this giant moving truck smashed into this little Honda Civic, and I ran over there to see if the person in the Civic was okay, and I saw them very frantically trying to get out, and they couldn't get out on their driver's side door, and I was on the other side, so they started climbing to me, and I opened up the door, and it was a young man, and I helped him out, and he had a wound on his head, but he wasn't too bad physically, but I could tell he was in shock, and I just put my hand over his heart, and I could feel how afraid he was. I was really beaten hard, and he looked very confused. You know, I mean, clearly he just saw his entire life flash before his eyes. So I just sat there with him, telling him he was okay, asking him some questions to make sure he was awake and with me. But really, just my hand on his heart. I think I just felt really connected to him, and I stayed with him until the fire truck came, and then the police, and then I left him, and it was interesting. It was a young man, and it really brought up my intention of helping men, because I think we could really use a lot of help. I know I have for most of my life, and it wasn't until my transformational workshop where I was around um, a mature, healthy, masculine energy that really helped me to break through a lot because I didn't have that pretty much my entire life. So that's why I'm passionate about it. And so it was interesting that this young man, it was a young man. Um, and then I was reflecting back on it, kind of going all over the place. I'm still integrating from the 10 days in Ojai. But I was reflecting on it, and it was interesting. After the first module, wasn't the next day, but it was within a few weeks. I went to the supermarket in my neighborhood, which is very close to where I went to this cafe, and it was at night. And I walked in, and these two men. One was one of um, the clerks, and another one was just a man who looked like he was a little down on his luck, and he had a suitcase, and they were arguing very heatedly. And then the man with the suitcase was saying, like he was threatening him in a very violent way, and I could see both of them were in a kind of a lock of anger, but I could also see the pain in them, especially the guy with the suitcase. Sorry, my dog is coming over while I'm doing this. But yeah, I could really just see the pain in the guy with the suitcase, and I walked up and I was trying to get them to break up, just talking to them, saying, whatever's going on, it doesn't, the consequences of it escalating isn't worth it, it's just, like I said, I see you, you know, I acknowledge you. And they were just going back at it, like that energy was locked. And I just asked the guy if I could hug him. And he like kind of froze and he looked at me and he said yes. And I hugged him. And I could feel him relax, like he really just needed someone to, I think, acknowledge his pain, to be honest. Um, and that kind of ended it. I mean, it ended it. They separated, and then he got a little bit. I could tell his pride was there, so he fluffed up a little bit, but he didn't threaten the clerk anymore, and the energy was different, and they parted their ways. So I just keep getting these signs that I'm here, that my intention is true, that I am here to help in some way men, at least at this stage of my life. And it feels good. I think thanks to somebody there at the Tantra group, one of the men kind of called me out and said I was playing small, and he's right. I have been playing small. I've been kind of waiting until I had everything. Felt like I had everything so that I could move forward. Uh, when in reality, I don't need any of that. I do have fear about being shamed. Um, Anytime you bring up Tantra, you kind of get a weird look with people when they don't know what it is, and they just immediately think it's all about sex. And sexuality is part of it, it's a big part of it. Um, but yeah, I'm tired of playing small. I picked the path that some people are going to judge. That's okay. I'd rather help people and help myself and be alive in this world instead of being in fear. So yeah, it feels good. Um, Back on the hustle. Got to come up with another about $4,500 by March to get to the next module. Um, for some reason, I'm not afraid this time. Like it feels good. Like I'm gonna raise that money somehow because this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to help people. So thank you for everyone who donated, everyone who watches these videos, and then if you have any ideas of how I can continue to raise money, or if you know anyone who might be sympathetic to what I'm doing, I would appreciate you sharing. Have a good night.